President of Cameroon, Paul Biya, is suffering from memory loss. The man was at the US-Africa Summit last month and he had no idea where he was or why he was there. I think he has dementia and it happens to the best of us. Nobody is making fun of him. He will be 90 next month. He has lived a long life. Nobody is making fun of his health challenges. But those who surround the man clearly don't have the fear of God. I don't think they really care about the man. Otherwise, he would have stepped down a long time ago. The whole world doesn't need to see him being embarrassed. He's embarrassing himself and Cameroon on a world platform. It shouldn't be.
Pourquoi je suis en vedette? C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je peux demander ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit. Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur debout qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous pouvez rester assis, parler assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
I mean, it's so sad. The man just sat there, he farted. He kept looking at the pamphlet in his hand for minutes. That is supposed to be his speech. Then he farted again in public. He put down his pamphlet. His aide came back to prompt him to speak.
Ici? Oui. Pourquoi? C'est moi.
Vegetables in power. African leaders who hold on to power in sickness and old age. Africa is a continent rich with diversity, culture, and history. But within its vibrant polity often lies a narrative of power, longevity, and controversy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we want to take you through the story of 10 African leaders who clung to power despite old age, illness, and strong opposition to their rule. Some of these leaders in our story were visibly so sick that they had to be supported by hand to move from place to place. Yet, they oversaw a regime of corruption, nepotism, tribalism, and intimidation. As we get ready to dive deep into their stories, please take a second to like the video and share it with your friends. Remember also to subscribe to the channel if you are new here, so that you will be notified of our future posts. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Now, let's get started. Our journey begins with General Sani Abacha of Nigeria, who ruled from 1993 until his death in 1998. Abacha ruled with an iron fist, killing descendants and jailing high-profile opponents, including his deputy, General Oladipo Diya, and General Olusegun Obasanjo, who would become president again in 1999. Abacha was sick with liver cirrhosis but could not seek treatment abroad because he feared being overthrown if he left the country. Despite his health challenges and accusations of corruption and human rights abuses, Abacha's grip on power remained unyielding until his demise in 1998. Umar Musa Yar'Adua, another Nigerian leader, assumed office in 2007. However, his reign was marked by health struggles as he battled with a kidney condition which eventually led to his demise. He left Nigeria on 23 November 2009 and was reported to be receiving treatment at a clinic in Saudi Arabia. He was not seen again in public, and his absence created a power vacuum which was usurped by a cabal of his family members and close cabinet officials who made decisions on his behalf. On 22nd January 2010, the Supreme Court of Nigeria ruled that the Federal Executive Council had 14 days to decide on whether Yar'Adua was capable of discharging the functions of his office. The ruling also stated that the Federal Executive Council should hear testimony of 5 doctors, one of whom should be Yar'Adua's personal physician. Despite the cabal fighting back with their lawyers, a decision was reached by the Senate to transfer presidential powers to Vice President Goodluck Jonathan, and it declared him acting president with all the accompanying powers until Yar'Adua returned to full health. On 24th February 2010, President Yar'Adua returned to Nigeria under the cover of darkness. His state of health remained unclear, but there was a speculation that he had basically returned from Saudi Arabia as a vegetable on life support. On May 5th, 2010, he was pronounced dead, making an end to the Yar'Adua presidency. Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe, a towering figure in African politics, held power for an astonishing 37 years, from 1980 until 2017. Mugabe assumed power as an independence fighter, but gradually lost both local and international support following accusations of economic mismanagement, widespread corruption, and human rights abuses, including anti-white racism and crimes against humanity. As he aged and his health declined, Mugabe clung to power while seeking medical treatment for cancer in Singapore. In 2017, a military intervention forced his resignation, ending his rule amidst both celebration and apprehension. According to his successor, Emerson Mnangagwa, Mugabe was unable to walk. He was hospitalized and treated at Glen Eagles Hospital in Singapore by April 2019. He died there on September 6, 2019, aged 95, and his body was flown back to Zimbabwe, where he was buried. Jose Eduardo dos Santos of Angola, one of Africa's longest-serving leaders, ruled for 38 years from 1979 until 2017. Dos Santos ruled Angola with a tight grip on power and was accused of creating one of the worst corrupt regimes in Africa, with a deeply entrenched patronage network with vast amounts of wealth diverted to the Dos Santos family. In 2020, Dos Santos' successor, Howell Lorenco, estimated that more than $24 billion was stolen and misappropriated under Dos Santos, allegedly through diversion of oil revenue, patronage, and government contracts. Despite his advanced age and rumors of ill health, Dos Santos held on to power until mounting pressure for political change led to his retirement in 2017, signaling the end of an era in Angolan politics. He was reportedly treated in Barcelona, Spain, for cancer for several years prior to his death. He was in critical condition after suffering cardiorespiratory arrest on 23rd June 2022 and also tested positive for COVID-19. He died on 8 July 2022 at Teknon Medical Center in Barcelona at the age of 79. Abdulaziz Bouteflika, Algeria's 7th and longest serving president, held power for 2 decades, from 1999 until 2019. Bouteflika's rule was marred by allegations of corruption, fraud, and vote tampering at elections from 1999 to 2019. Following a stroke in 2013, Bouteflika made few public appearances throughout his 4th term, making his final appearance in 2017. But despite his advancing age and health issues, including a debilitating stroke in 2013, Bouteflika sought a 5th term in office, sparking mass protests that ultimately led to his resignation, marking the end of an era characterized by both stagnation and defiance. Following his resignation, Bouteflika became a recluse and died at the age of 84 in 2021, over 2 years after his resignation. After his death, it became known in the Suisse secret data leak that he held a credit Suisse account which overlapped with much of his presidency. In Gabon, Omar Bongo dominated the political landscape for over 4 decades. From 1967 until his death in 2009, in his time, he was accused for working for himself, his family and local elites, and not for Gabon and its people. For instance, French Green politician Eva Joly claimed that during Bongo's long reign, despite an oil-led GDP per capita growth to one of the highest levels in Africa, Gabon built only 5 kilometers of freeway a year and still had one of the highest infant mortality rates by the time of his death in 2009. Omar Bongo suffered from colorectal cancer and was treated in Spain, but despite rumors of ill health, Bongo remained in power until the very end. His death marked the end of an era characterized by both stability and authoritarianism. After Bongo's death in June 2009, his son Ali Bongo, who had long been assigned key ministerial responsibilities by his father, was elected to succeed him in August of that year. Following in his father's footsteps, Ali Bongo assumed the presidency of Gabon in 2009. However, his reign was marked by controversy, including allegations of electoral fraud and serious health concerns. He survived a stroke in 2018, becoming very frail in health and appearing in public hardly able to walk by himself. Despite these challenges, Bongo continued to hold on to power amidst a backdrop of political turbulence and opposition. Following a controversial election in 2023, which was called in favor of Ali Bongo, the military seized power and announced a committee for transition and restoration of institutions. Initially, Ali was held under house arrest along with his son and some close aides under charges of treason, embezzlement, corruption, falsifying the president's signature, and drug trafficking. Bongo released a video on social media in which he appeared distressed while pleading for help in English, calling on his friends and supporters both in Gabon and around the world to raise their voices and make noise in response to the coup.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
Bryce Oligui Nguema, Ali's cousin and commander of the Republican Guard, was later installed as interim president by the military junta. A week after the coup, Oligui Nguema authorized Bongo's release on medical grounds, saying that he was free to leave the country for treatment. Following his release, Bongo moved to his residence in Libreville to continue living as a private citizen. Muhammadu Buhari, another Nigerian leader on our list, assumed office in 2015. However, his 8-year presidency was marked by persistent health concerns, medical trips abroad, and shady characters in the corridors of power acting on his behalf. Very early into his first tenure, between June 6, 2016 and August 19, 2017, he had made 3 medical vacations to London, spending in all 168 days away from his presidential responsibilities, leaving the whole country wondering if he would be able to rule effectively and complete his tenure in office. Despite these challenges, the sick and frail Buhari continued to hold on to power, talking gibberish to the press and looking lost at global meetings with foreign leaders. Instead of resigning to look after his health so that a healthier person could take over the running of the country, he stuck on and even contested elections again for the second term. Amidst controversies over brazen corruption and rigging of elections, he was declared the winner and sworn into a second term. This term was no different, as he continued to be weighed down by the challenges of office, but he just held on to power to complete the term, barely doing any actual governing towards the end. Fortunately, he did not try to stay on longer than the constitutionally allowed 2 terms. The country was able to be rid of him on May 29, 2003, and he returned to his farm and his 150 cows. Next on our list is Paul Biya, Cameroon's long-standing president, who has held office since 1982, making him one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. Despite facing criticism for his authoritarian rule and speculations about his health, Biya remains entrenched in the power, navigating the complexities of Cameroonian politics with unwavering determination. He is rumored to have declared that he would continue to rule Cameroon even after he has died. His old age and frail health have left him unable to do any real leadership, but he continues to show up at international fora for world leaders, looking lost, dozing off, farting uncontrollably, and generally making an embarrassment of himself and the poor country. At 91 years of age and after 42 years in power, Paul Biya continues to rule Cameroon from Geneva in Switzerland, where he is most of the time. He will eventually leave Cameroon worse than he met it, but he continues to hold on to power today in 2014. Lastly, we have Bola Tinubu, a highly controversial politician and current president of Nigeria. Tinubu has been implicated in a lot of corruption, certificate forgery, and drug trafficking allegations. Before assuming office in 2023, he was already going repeatedly to France for treatment of undisclosed conditions. He ran a deeply controversial campaign in 2022. At the time when his poor health status was already very obvious. He was pictured to have wet his pan, licked on the microphone with his tongue in preparation to get started with his speech, and spoke complete gibberish throughout the campaign period.
If we lend ourselves to innovation, we can create wonders. Yeah, it is successful. Again, a town hall different from Bulaba.
Despite his obvious health challenges, his poor campaign manifesto, and his divisive campaign strategies, he was declared the winner of the highly flawed election. Since coming into office, rumors of his increasingly poor health and concerns over his age and bad economic policies have left the populace in suffering and despair. Like the other African leaders we have already covered in this story, Tinubu seems determined to hold on to power for as long as possible, while progress and economic growth remains elusive and the people continue to suffer. These are the 10 African leaders who have held on to power, even as they age and become top sick to lead. They all hold on to power, not to effect positive change for their people, but to enjoy the perks of office and to corruptly enrich themselves, their families, members, and their cronies. As we analyze their legacies, we hope that the consciousness of the African people continues to awaken and the era of true democracy, accountability, and positive change on the African continent eventually arrives. That is it for this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment sections. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss any of our entertaining and educating videos. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Naija Social Trends. Until next time, goodbye.
To tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Reflex.
Tell them to make noise, make noise. Tell them to make noise, make noise. I'm calling you a son to make